what goes around comes around. I can still hear my grandma say it to me. Only she didn't say it that way. What goes around comes around. And she would say that in telling me a story, trying to correct my behavior. And she would say, if you treat people badly, bad things are going to come back to you. But if you treat people kindly, kind things will come back to you. Recently, I had the opportunity to find out that sometimes it takes a long time for that kindness to come back to you. When I was married, my first home was a 3-story apartment building. And it was filled with other people that were struggling financially. My neighbor Dorothy was a single parent of a 6-year-old named Keith. Dorothy was a really nice person. She worked really hard. She had no support financially or emotionally. She was a humble person. She never bragged about what she didn't have. She never whined for the things that she longed for. She was content to be where she was and just working daily. One day, she would ask me to meet Keith at the bus and keep him for a couple hours until she finished her shift at the nursing home. And because I was at home, I did that several times for her. It was the least I could do to help her out. So it became a habit where Keith would come over to my house when she wasn't there. So one day, when Keith turned 7, he was able to have a paper route. And he was really nice because he would come over, we would roll little papers together, I'd have him put rubber bands around them. Back then, newspapers were delivered to every house for people that wanted to read the news. And then in return, they would pay for it. And kids had jobs, believe it or not. So I would help him with the rubber bands and roll them up into the little rolls, and he would stick them into this huge bag that he had. And when the bag was full, he'd sling it over his shoulder, and off he'd go to deliver his papers. One snowy day, he came to my door after he did his collections. Now, when you had the newspaper delivered, you had to pay for it. So once a month, he would go around and collect the money. He was so darn cute. He had little ice crystals on his eyebrows, and he had a milk mustache frozen on his upper lip. I teased him about kissing a snow girl, like a snowman, but a snow girl. And he laughed that belly laugh that just echoed through my apartment. It was incredible. You know what? He said humbly. Nope, what? I was so hungry when I was delivering my papers that I had to ask a girl for a glass of water. Well, that's okay. Did she bring it to you? No. She went to the kitchen and she came back with a glass of milk. Oh, how kind was that? So I know this girl. He told me that it was the pinkish house with the white trim, the one that used to be a barber shop. The girl is Vanessa. She goes to my church. And she was a sweet girl with wavy blonde hair and big brown eyes and rosy cheeks and a smile that would light up the darkest of rooms. And she had been so kind to him. That was really sweet. And I said, that's okay, you've got your glass of milk and all is well. So Vanessa and I are now friends on Facebook. And it's really kind of cool because now I get to see her kids grow up. They've been in tournaments, they play sports, stuff like that. It's really kind of cool to see that happen. Well, a couple years ago, Vanessa got cancer. And it didn't look too good for her. And so the doctor said that she only had a few months to go. But as effort, they called in a doctor, a woo-hoo doctor from New York. And he flew to Chicago and met with Vanessa. He was amazing. He got her into this trial program and then into clinical research. And then finally, he prescribed some really strong drugs that just knocked the cancer right out. So last fall, she was declared cancer-free, which is pretty cool. So she got this bill, and she was really worried because they had been paying $10 a month to many doctors in the hospital just to keep them at bay. And she got this bill from the New York doctor. Well, flying from New York to Chicago several times is a billable expense, but not covered by insurance. So she got the bill, and she's going through it line by line, page by page, and she gets to the last page. And there at the bottom, handwritten, was this note: bill paid in full by a glass of milk, Dr. Keith. Now, have you ever had a kindness returned to you when you've done something kind to somebody? It took a long time, many years,